If you've ever worked really hard for anything in your life and everything was building up for it to be a success, and just as you hit the top, as you reach exactly where you want to be, it all comes crumbling down. Now, if you've ever been into that situation, then you might know about this one. If you've been following the major or the RMRs at all, you'll know that there's quite a few teams going through, some underdogs, teams you've never heard of. And I think one of the teams you might not have heard of is called 15 Average Gaming. And it all started going uphill, but also downhill with this tweet. 15 Average Gaming was able to get out on top at the EAM RMR qualifiers, finals. I don't even know what they called it anymore. And they made it. They made it to the Shanghai RMR, which basically means you're one step away from that sweet, sweet sticker money. And they were looking good until things were not looking good. Now, if you have no idea who 15 Average Gaming is, I completely get it. A lot of people don't. These are not the teams like Liquid or FaZe or the Navis. These are not the big teams. These are not the big leagues we hear about, which is why I was quite surprised when I didn't see anything on this. I didn't see anyone talk about this team. 15 Average Gaming is a... I'm sorry if this is wrong. I tried to understand, but I'm pretty sure they're an Algerian team, majority Algerian players. I'm very, very sorry if that is incorrect, by the way. But pretty much an African team, a team from the continent of Africa. I know that they won the Intel Africa Masters 2022 that I casted, casted / meme casted, whichever. They are actually a pretty prompt team, a very, very nice team, very, very nice bunch of homies and dedicated players. They have been doing fairly well. In the regional scenes, at least, building their way up, actually grinding quite a rank, being, I think, now 102nd in the world. 102nd in the world. I mean, that's not bad for an HLTV ranking. But we're not here to talk about the ranking. We're not here to talk about the rating. We're here to talk about what went wrong. What's happening? Why are we talking about this team? Well, it all started when the PGL esports team tweeted out this: the RMR Asia update. Team 15 Average Gang couldn't assemble a valid lineup for the RMR event and will be substituted by Twisted Minds. Now, again, if you're not a big follower of these teams, or if you don't even know who these teams are, you see this tweet, you scroll past and don't really think much about it, because it isn't Navi, it isn't FaZe or Liquid. But it caught my eye, so I decided to look a bit into it. And now, this is one of those scenarios or one of those situations I think that can happen in anything in life, not just esports, sports, life, work, whatever. And it just shows you how quickly things can change, but also how important communication could be sometimes. Now, I want to make it very, very clear. I'm not looking to fault here. I think both sides are at fault with regards to PGL and 15 Average Gaming, but I'm not picking sides. I just want to make a video about it and talk about it, because this could happen to anyone. This could happen to any team. Unfortunately, it did happen to 15 Average Gaming, and they were substituted by Twisted Minds, and they are going to be playing in their spot in the Shanghai RMR Major, whichever, trying to get that sticker money. But the scary part is, not the scary part, I'd say the sad part, 4 players of 15 Average Gaming is already in Shanghai. Let's talk about what happened. So, in a super short sequence of events, I'll try and explain from what I can gather here. Pretty much 15 Average Gaming, they made it. They qualified for the Shanghai Major, and all they needed to do was get to Shanghai now, which means visas, the usual stuff. And 4 of their players were able to get there, no issue, except for one. Mr. Quail. I'm sorry if I said his name wrong. Unfortunately, Mr. Quail was not able to make it. Why? Reason why? He's from Ukraine. Unfortunately, Ukraine is in a war. Literally, they have a war. So I'm guessing, because I'm not informed enough to be able to just say what happened, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that getting a visa just to travel out of the country isn't that easy. And unfortunately, due to the visa issues and not being able to leave the country, 15 Average Gaming was not able to set a roster. Now, PGL did tweet out a whole sequence of events. We'll go through it very, very fast. If you want to read, you can pause, you can go through it all. But pretty much what happened was PGL was very, very lenient, I believe, towards 15 Average Gaming and letting them miss some deadlines. Now, obviously, a lot of things can happen, a lot of things can change, and especially with the scenario of Quail, who is from Ukraine, it can make things a little bit difficult. Trying to get a visa, trying to get out of the country in order to go play. And from reading all this, and if you gather all the information, pretty much what happened was 15 Average Gaming, they weren't able to confirm whether Quail was going to be able to make it to the major. They tried to sub in their coach, Mr. Fatih. I almost said Faith the first time. Mr. Fatih, in case Mr. Quail won't be able to travel. However, unfortunately, that's not how the rules work. PGL rules clearly state that a substitute player is only allowed to play as a substitute, and the coach was not listed as a substitute, which means that's why he couldn't play. Obviously, I can understand from 15 Average Gaming why they tried to contest this and be like, just let us play with him if Quail can't make it, due to the fact that Ukraine is at war and it's a little bit difficult to get out of the country if visa issues are a thing. But I personally feel like PGL was quite lenient and tried to help them as much as they can with regards to extending deadlines and trying to get them a chance to actually get all the players there. With 4 players already being in Shanghai, they literally just needed their one more player. And what they could do is they could get their coach there and he could play. Unfortunately, that's not what the rules state. Now, the management team for 15 Average Gaming did come out and correct some things in the statement. So I want to go through those real quick because I feel like it's an important part of the puzzle. So, according to PGL, February 9th, the team confirmed all members applied for visas and they expected to receive the passports after the Chinese holidays by February the 20th. Now, that is what PGL said, and according to 15 Average, that is incorrect. The correct version is we haven't confirmed that all members applied, and we were super clear regarding Quail's case. Now, they're saying, from what I can understand, is that Quail is from Ukraine. Shit might be a bit difficult to get, but we're trying. We're trying our best. February 19th, the team clarified that Maxwell, the player competing for the team during the qualifiers, is no longer part of the team. And they clarified that via email on the January 30th and kept doing so multiple times. And we've been told that we cannot change him due to the rules. No other solutions were presented by PGL. Now, this is obviously very hearsay, they say, because there's no physical proof unless we actually get like the actual emails or communication. But you have to kind of decide whose word to take here. February 20th, on February 20th, PGL informed the team qualifier that the deadline for submitting all necessary documents for Quail was set for February 21st at 4 o'clock. What am I reading? 3 o'clock. All teams are required to arrive on site by February 25th to fulfill their obligations for media day. Now, this is obviously from PGL. They have an obligation. 15 Average is saying there wasn't a precise date for the deadline, only time, which was confusing until we asked via the WhatsApp what the deadline was for. February 22nd, after the initial deadline expired without any updates for the PGL team, set a new deadline. This is again PGL just extending the deadlines, trying to help them out, I'm guessing. And they weren't able to meet it. They weren't able to meet the deadline. And the response is they were on a flight. They were on a flight and they had to use, Wi-Fi on the plane, which isn't always that good, trying to do the communication. And unfortunately, the communication fell through and 15 Average was disqualified. Lost their spot, same type of thing. Now, my main thing is this. If this was Navi or Liquid or FaZe, or any of the big teams, I keep using those names, but I'm just the names that are coming to my head. If any of those big teams had a similar issue, do you think it would have been handled differently? Do you think PGL would have gone further? Do you think because bigger orgs might have bigger context and might be able to pull some more strings? I'm again not picking any sides. I'm just bringing light to this. I'm bringing light to the fact that I believe 15 Average Gaming deserves a slot. They deserve the spot. They beat everyone. They got their spot. However, PGL also did everything they could. It has to get to a point where someone is going to be to blame, and whether it be the team or the TO can only do so much, the team can only do so much, but unfortunately the problem is somewhere someone's going to have to take the blame. Someone's going to have to take the blame, and it sucks. It sucks for these players. It sucks for these teams because I know they want to be there. I mean, imagine working your dick off trying to get to the major, and you're right there. You're right there, and then life happens, and it's, it kind of goes through. Now, notice what I said. I said life happens. I don't think PGL is at fault here. This isn't PGL's fault. PGL did everything they could. They did everything they could. Obviously, PGL is also running on a very, very tight schedule. They're running on a very tight ship. They need to get all the players there and they need to prep everything for the major. While the one part of the major is like finished, we have another side, another region, another continent that also needs to have their stuff being streamed. We have to get those players in. It's all the big mishap. And 15 Average tweeted the PGL Major Drama disqualification statement. It's crucial to hold organizers like PGL accountable for their actions and ensure that fairness is not just a slogan, but a tangible commitment in practice. Now, whilst I agree, 15 Average Gaming got to give it to PGL. If what PGL stated was correct, they did try and be as lenient as possible. And PGL got to give it to 15 as well. If everything that 15 stated is true, they were as lenient as possible as well. They tried to give them as much information as possible. Unfortunately, in this scenario, in this regard, the the big issue was, unfortunately, that the player was from Ukraine, a country at war. It just needs to stand. What if it was a bigger org? What if these are more known players? What if ZywOo? What if ZywOo couldn't make it because of X, Y, and Z? Do you think they would have gotten the same treatment, or do you think some special arrangement would have been made? I just wondered. I just wanted to bring some light to this. I mean, I can't. I'm not going to pick sides. I don't think PGL did a bad thing. I don't think 15 Average Gaming did a bad thing. I just think it sucks. I think it sucks for the players. I think it sucks for the TOs, because now you're going to get like one half of the people that's going to be like, yo, PGL sucks. I can't believe they did this. And then you're going to get another side that's going to be like, Bozo Average Gaming, just do better next time, get better players. I don't know. I just want to talk about it. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Leave a comment down below. Leave a like. Let's talk. Let's spread the word. Let's talk about it. Let's get some more inputs in this, and subscribe.